And welcome back, everybody, to the show, Fantasy Savvy Weekly, with your host, Steve D'Angelo, here for Championship Sunday. We have two pretty damn good games, highlighted by the first game, Chiefs Ravens in Baltimore, 3 o'clock CBS. Then we get Lions Niners on Fox at 6:30. Gonna get Joe Buck, Troy Aikman for that one. I believe, anyway. Actually, I'm not even sure. But anyway, we are going to go over the picks. We got some props for you guys tonight. We got some same game parlays. And last week was the first week we did props all year. It's the playoffs. It takes a lot of work to do props. It's a lot of work to dive in and really try to make educated picks. And did okay. I would say probably ended up on the losing side overall. Had some plus bets, but quite a few came just short. Zay Flowers just came short. Kincaid just came short. Christian McCaffrey just came short. But I think we got some really good ones this week. But the main part of the show is the NFL picks. That's what you've been following. That's what you've been listening to all year. And again, we'll go all the way back to week one, where week one, we were drafting. So we didn't pick. I was drafting a million teams again. Week 2, 2-1. Week 3, 6-0. Week 4, 3-2. Start out 3 weeks in a row winning. Week 5, 3-6. Week 6, 2-4. 2 straight losing weeks. Week 7, we bounce back 7-2. Week 8, 3-5. Week 9, 1-3. Week 10, 3, 4-1. 3 straight losing weeks. 4 straight losing weeks. Week 11, we go 3-5. Unbelievable. Week 12, 7-2. Week 13, 3-1. Week 14, 7, 4-1. So 3 straight winning weeks. Then week 15, 3-5. Week 16, 4-7. 2 straight losing weeks. But then week 17, 7-3. Week 18, 6-3. Wild card round 6-2. Up to 56.3%. Our highest of the year. So we were at peak level last week. But this week, last week, divisional round, we go 1-4. So now we're 77, 63-2, back down to 55%, but still winning. Again, 52.6%, I believe, is winning after you pay the VIG and whatnot. But let's see what we got for this week. We're going to pick. We only got 2 games, so we're just going to pick the total. We're going to pick the side. Again, I'm going to have player props and some same game parlays for you guys as well. So stay tuned. If you're listening on Spotify, please like, share, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple, like, share, subscribe. If you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, rather, like, share, subscribe. Follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. Championship Sunday picks, props, best bets, same game parlays. Fantasy Savvy Weekly, let's go. Welcome to the Fantasy Savvy Weekly Show with your host, Steve D'Angelo, discussing high-stakes fantasy football, NFL picks, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, we're back. Fantasy Savvy Weekly. Again, follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. Like, subscribe, share, please. Also check me out on the Face Off Sports Network, fffaceoff.com. Please go check out that site as well. I've been with those guys for a couple of years now. Free everything there, free picks, free articles, a lot of dynasty information, other sports as well, NBA, golf, soccer. So check that out. Everything is free. But let's get into this first game here. Again, 3 p.m. on CBS between the Chiefs and the Ravens. And a lot of people are taking the Chiefs in this game. It's the Patrick Mahomes playoff experience. You're going to give, Patrick Mahomes 4 points in the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes is going to be an underdog. Give me the points, and it makes a hell of a lot of sense. The Chiefs defense, this has been one of the best Chiefs defenses all along this Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo ride. These corners are playing well. L'Jarius Sneed let up his first freaking touchdown last week to Khalil Shakir. Took a freaking opposite rollout to the left, bottom, shoestring catch, pass, catch, pass by Allen to Shakir. Made a shoestring catch to beat Sneed. It was an unbelievable play to let up Sneed's first touchdown of the year. So, this defense has played very, very well all year. One of the best defenses in the league. Mahomes and Kelsey are getting going the past couple weeks. Kelsey 2 touchdowns against the Bills. Rashee Rice is emerging. Even freaking Marquez Valdez-Scantling is catching some passes. Isaiah Pacheco is running tough. And they take on, a Baltimore team. Lamar Jackson has struggled in the playoffs. Let me try to center this a little bit. Has struggled in the playoffs. Looked good last week. Didn't look good in the first half last week. But played much better in the second half against the Texans. Was running the ball. Ended up with 100 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Hadn't had a rushing touchdown since week 7. He gets into the end zone twice. So is this Chiefs defense equipped to slow down Lamar Jackson and this running game? And, Zay Flowers now, the rookie, Odell Beckham. Got Nelson Aguilar, you got Rashad Bateman. We're going to get Mark Andrews back in this game. He is ready. He practiced. They opened up his window when the playoffs came. He practiced last week, wasn't ready, fully ready. He said he wasn't going to come back until he was fully ready, and he's going to be playing this week. They're also going to get back Marlon Humphrey on defense, their best cornerback. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are going to be missing their best guard, pass blocking guard, Joe Thuney, rated number 1 by Pro Football Focus. He's out. Also missing, again, Derek Nandi, their best run defender in the middle. He's on IR. Pacheco is banged up with foot and ankle injuries. Didn't really practice much this week. Practiced in limited fashion. He says he's absolutely going to play. Of course, he's going to play. He's a gamer. But is he going to be 100%? I don't know. So some big injuries there for the Chiefs. We saw the Bills have success with James Cook, churning out yards last week. Now you got Lamar. Now you got Gus Edwards. Now you got Justice Hill. The Gus bus running up the middle. So, I have to make a pick on this game. That's how I do it. I was on the show with Anthony, and I just took, and I wanted to share this screen or share this music with you guys. Let me bring that out. Bang. But I have to, pick the spread on this show. I can't be,
nowhere is this conflict more evident.
Just picking money lines. I got to pick the games with the spread. Can't do, teasers. So that's the name of this. That's what we got to do on this show. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Ravens -4. The Chiefs taking it, and this was started at 3, then it went to 3.5. Now it's 4. Who the hell knows? Maybe drop back down to 3.5. Maybe it goes up to 4.5. It seems like a lot of the sharp bettors, people in Vegas, are on the Chiefs, which again makes a ton of sense. It's very, very tempting to take the Chiefs. But the more I think about it, I think I have to go by what we've seen from the Chiefs all season long. And that is an offense that didn't really look that great. They struggled most of the year. We saw some, pretty terrible performances. Losing to the Raiders. Should have lost to the Jets. Now, the Jets had some good wins this year. But there were some penalties that helped them. Lost to the Broncos 24-9, lost to the Packers 27-19. But the Raiders lost, 2014. And these losses are pretty recent. I mean, the Raiders, they just played a couple weeks ago. What was it? Week 16. Week 17, they, barely beat the Bengals with Jake Browning 25-17. They were tied with the Patriots at halftime in New England. They ended up winning 27-17. They lost to the Bills before that, and they lost to the Packers before that. And they lost to the Eagles too, 21-17. We all know how bad this Eagles defense has been. So yeah, they have Kelsey, they have Rashee Rice, and they've looked much better on offense the past 2 weeks. But who did they face the past 2 weeks? They faced a Miami defense that was missing everybody. Multiple different linebackers, corner. Xavier Howard was out. Van Ginkel was out. Bradley Chubb was out. Jerome Baker was out. I mean, they were just decimated on defense. Miami, Florida team has to go to the Chiefs playing minus 20 below. They had no shot. And then they play the Bills, who, lost Matt Milano in London. They lost Trey White in London. They lost Bernard. He did not play. He did a good job on Kelsey in the first game. Then they lost their other backup, Spector. Then they had to go with freaking A.J. Klein. Again, this guy was about to take his family to freaking Key West. He got banged up in that game. He was trying to cover Kelsey. They could. There was a blown-up play. They're missing cornerbacks. So their defense was a hot mess too. Now they got to play a fully healthy Ravens defense for the most part. A couple guys, but all their key players are pretty much out there. Jadeveon Clowney's having a revamped year, probably one of his best seasons in a long time. This dude, Justin Mutabuke, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, 13 sacks this year. This team leads the league in sacks. Safety play, cornerback play, Mike McDonald calling up, good defenses all year. So I just think I don't think the Chiefs are going to score a lot of points in this game. I see them scoring like 13, 16, maybe 17 points. And I think the Ravens could put up, 23 at least. I mean, I'm looking at like a 23-17 type game. I really see it that way. It's going to be low scoring. There's going to be some rain in this game coming down, so that may keep it down a little bit. Receivers dropping balls. Could be some fumbles. Could be some errant passes, which could lead to fumbles, interceptions, missed snaps. That, maybe that could help the over, quicker points. But I really see like a 23-17 type game. I mean, this is the Raiders team that we saw. I mean, this is a Chiefs team we saw play the Raiders and lose 2014 at home. They also only put up 17 against the Eagles. But 14 against the Raiders, 17 against the Eagles, 19 against the Packers, which wasn't a good defense. And they just faced two decimated defenses back-to-back weeks. Pacheco's a little bit banged up. They're going to be missing Thuney. Again, that's going to be a big adjustment. So I'm going to go Ravens -4. If you could buy it down to 3, buy it down to 3. But I'm going to go Ravens -4. And I'm going to take, since I'm going to pick everything in this, I'm going to just pick everything here. I'm going to take the under, too, which, looks like it started at 46.5. Now it's down to 44.5. I'm going to take the under as well. 23-17 final here for me. And then I'm going to take Baltimore. This is not going to go my official picks, but I'm going to take Baltimore and the under as a teaser. So it would be Baltimore +2 and the under 50.5. And I'm also going to take the Ravens in the first half. The Ravens are going to be ready to go. Chiefs probably, coming off facing two decimated defenses. They're losing their guard. They might come out a little, might have to figure things out in the first half. And I think the Ravens, they've been a good first half team all freaking year. So
The autumn wind is a
I'm going to take the Ravens in the first half -2.5 as well. Now, as far as props in this game, I got quite a few. The first one I'm going to take is Mahomes over 26.5 rushing yards. And the reason I'm taking that is because Baltimore allowed Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Jake Browning, and Justin Herbert to all run over that mark. And Mahomes has done this 9 times this season, including against the playoffs this year against the Dolphins. Now, Mahomes doesn't have a rushing touchdown all season, which is kind of crazy. But he's been over 26.5 9 times, and I just listed the quarterbacks that Baltimore allow that to. I expect them to, be able to cover Kelsey with those safeties, with the cornerbacks a little bit, do a better job than Miami and Buffalo. And I think I think Mahomes is just going to have to take off. So I like that over 26.5 rushing yard prop. I was thinking about taking Pacheco over 62.5 rushing yards. He's done that 6 of his last 8, twice this playoffs. Baltimore has allowed 10 backs to go over that mark. But the more I think about it now, I like the way the Baltimore was filling in those gaps against Houston last week. And now you got Thunia. I know he's more of a pass blocking guard, but maybe they go down, maybe they can't run as much. So I'm going to fall off that. Although I probably lean that, I'm going to fall off of it. I'm going to take Justin Watson over 14.5 receiving yards. He's done that 12 times this season. So not a lot of people are thinking about him. He's run the 4th most routes for the Chiefs this season and 3rd in the playoffs. McCole Hardman, he may not even play. I mean, he fumbled the ball twice last week. He lost one out of the end zone. So he may just sit down. Maybe you see more Richie James, but we'll probably see more Justin Watson as well. And we just really need one pass. And they do like to go deep to him. Mahomes could scramble around, find him. So I kind of like that. Again, he's done that 12 times, over that 14.5 mark. For the Ravens side, I like Justice Hill over 51.5 rushing receiving yards combined. He's done that in his last 3 games. Now, that last game of the year, they rested all their starters, so you can't count that. But, every game that he's been involved, he's been over that 51.5 mark. The Chiefs have allowed that 16 times this season to running backs. I also like Justice Hill over 2.5 receptions. Plus 130. He's done that 3 times in a row. Zay Flowers over 44.5 receiving and rushing yards. He's been over that 12 times this season, 6 of the last 8. Now, I thought that they were going to give Zay Flowers some carries last week. Didn't happen, but they didn't really need to use it, I don't think, especially in the second half. I think we may see that against the Chiefs. I think they'll give him maybe 1 or 2 handoffs here to help that prop go over. But I think that's good value for Zay Flowers. Again, he's done that 12 times this season and 6 of the last 8. So I like that. Mark Andrews over 35.5. Now, he said that, you maybe get a little worried, because it's his first game back since week 8. He got hurt against the Bengals long time ago. Week 7, week 8, whatever it was, hasn't played in a long ass time, broken fibula. But there was a chance he's going to get back. If they made a run in the playoffs, which they did. Now they're in the AFC championship game. He said he wasn't going to play until he was fully ready. He practiced all last week. They opened up the window. So he must be fully ready, practicing full all week. Now, maybe he doesn't play his normal amount of snaps because Isaiah Likely has filled in well. But still, Andrews has done that in 8 of 9 games this season. So pretty much every game. The only game, and there was another game I'm not even going to count. The only game he really didn't do it in was against the Colts. You could count the Bengals game. He finished with 23 yards, but I'm not even going to count that because he left with injury. So he's pretty much done it in almost every game he's been in over that 35.5. So, even if his snaps are down a little bit, I still like it. A little more, on the harder to hit side, but still, I think a decent chance here. Plus 700 for an interception from Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton, their safety. Mahomes has, Kyle Hamilton 4 picks this season, because not a lot, but Mahomes has 14 picks this year. He has a pick in 11 games this year. A couple games, he has multiple picks. 6 picks in his last 9, and he's minus 135 to throw a pick. And only Goff is higher at minus 145. So he's the second highest odds to throw a pick at minus 135. So, Kyle Hamilton, tip pass, drop pass, maybe something slips through his hands, plus 700. Guy also has a pick 6 on the year as well. Justin Matabuke, plus 140 for a sack. Jadeveon Clowney, plus 175 for a sack. Mahomes sacked in 14 games this year and 27 times total. Again, Joe Thuney is out. Number 1 Pro Football Focus pass blocking guard is out. Matabuke has 13 sacks. Clowney has 9. And Mahomes has been sacked multiple times in 8 games this year. I think it's pretty good value. Maybe one of them hits. And again, plus 140, plus 175. So you bet even on both of them, you're going to come out a winner if one of them gets that sack. Again, I like Baltimore to win 23-17. So give me Baltimore minus 4. Give me the under 44.5. Give me Baltimore on the money line, minus 200. Baltimore on the under tees, which will go to Baltimore plus 2, and the under 50.5. And then the Ravens first half, minus 2.5. So I'm all in on Baltimore. So I'm either going to get, do awesome, or I'm going to get completely wrecked by this game. And certainly when you're going against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, you're betting against the best in the NFL, pretty much. I mean, these guys are the champs. They're they got the best quarterback. They got the best coach. I just think it's going to come to an end here. I think it's the Harbaugh's year. I think it's Lamar's year. And Baltimore gets it done in Baltimore, 3 o'clock on Sunday for the first game. All right, second game. Now, this game, man, I went back and forth a couple times. I really couldn't. Figure it out. It's like I like the Lions a little bit. I mean, I like the Niners to win, and I was like, the Lions, they should cover. Dan Campbell. But, I was talking about, I went out with Josh on Wednesday, and I said I kind of like the Lions. And, I hadn't really had my mind made up, but I had to put out a pick, and I said the Lions, even with Anthony on Thursday, kind of said the Lions, and I would take the Lions in a teaser and the over. But the more I think about it now, and just looking at all the props and going over all the stats and everything, now that I've really done all the research that I have time to really dive into everything I wanted to, I kind of like the Niners here, minus the 7. I'm not, I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about any of these games, really. But I just think, the Niners at home, Brock Purdy against this defense, this secondary that's allowed Nick Mullins to throw for 400 twice, basically. Dak, Stafford, Baker, all over 325. Kittle, Ayuk, Debo's, they don't have one guy in the freaking injury report, the Niners. They're fully healthy. Debo's off the freaking injury report. The Lions, okay, they're a good story. Great story. They beat the Rams 24-23. Rams couldn't freaking get a touchdown. That was a good win. That's definitely a good win. Rams offense has been really, really good. But again, Rams couldn't score a touchdown. And they beat the Bucs 31-23. But again, this secondary, I think, is just allowing too many points. I don't know if Aaron Glenn's going to be able to pull something out of his ass. Now, Brock Purdy definitely struggled last week. Could have thrown, a couple picks in that game. The ball was wet. It was slipping out of his hands. He was making errant throws. Even when it wasn't wet, he was making errant throws. So maybe the Lions defense has got something for him. Aiden Hutchinson's got some for him. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I don't think the Lions are gonna be able to stop this offense with McCaffrey. Their run defense has been excellent all year, top 3 um, run defense. Number 1 against fantasy running backs. I just don't think they're gonna be able to stop McCaffrey and Kittle. Lions bottom 5 in tackling. You can't be bottom 5 in tackling when you're facing a team that has Kittle, Debo, McCaffrey. I mean, that's just like the worst stat you could possibly. These guys are just tackle breakers. So there's probably going to be a lot of big plays from all these guys. Now Debo, he made it back. He practiced in full. He's off the injury report, but I'm sure he's still hurting. He could definitely go out early in this game. That's kind of why I want to avoid his props. Although I don't mind taking some of them because I think there's good value there. But I'm going to stick with the Niners here, -7. I'm also going to take the over 52.5. I have the Niners winning this game 34-21. So that is going to put the game over. That's going to cover for the Niners. I'm going to take San Francisco on the over teaser. Now, that would also work with the Lions and over teaser. But I think the more I think about it, I think the Niners have more of a potential to blow this one open than the Lions kind of keeping it close, maybe. So I just think that San Francisco side of the teaser is a little bit better. So you get San Francisco down to 1, and you buy that over under down to 46.5. Then as far as the props, just I have Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown plus 120. He's done that. He's scored 6 of his last 7 games. So I'm going to take that. I think he'll find his way in the end zone somehow, whether running or receiving. And I'm also going to take Gibbs over 23.5 receiving yards, minus 115 as well. Back-to-back games with 40 yards receiving. So I think the Lions are going to have to play from behind. And I think they're going to utilize Gibbs in the passing game. They have to if they want to try to win this game. And then also I'm going to take Jameson Williams over 28.5 receiving yards. He's done this 4 of his last 5 games. 49ers have allowed 34 receivers to go over this mark. So I like that as well. I think, they're going to want to incorporate Jameson. They're going to be focused on Laporta. They're going to be focused on Amon-Ra St. Brown. And again, 4 of his last 5 games. This guy started out the year suspended, hurt, so his first year he was all banged up. He's coming off an ACL. He missed time first year, missed time this year with the suspension. So 4 of the last 5 were 20.5, and the Niners allowed 34 receivers to go over that mark. Also, I'm going to take Aiden Hutchinson over half a sack, minus 120. Now, at all the props for the Lions, I think I may like this one the best. Purdy has been sacked in every game this year except for 2. He's been sacked 28 times this season. And Hutchinson has 8 sacks in his last 4 games. So he's on fire right now. 4 games in a row now with a sack. He's got 11.5 on the year, but 8 sacks in his last 4. So he's got, couple games with multiple sacks. So he's on fire. San Francisco's the right side of that line is a little bit of a weakness to kind of more where Hutchinson operates from. So I really think he's going to get a sack on Purdy in this game. Especially if this game is going back and forth with a lot of throwing. Now you could say maybe after last week, Shanahan is going to want to take the ball out of Purdy's hands. But again, Purdy was up for MVP. Purdy's been successful here, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks, 4,000 yards. And the way to beat the Lions is to pass on them. They have a top run defense. I mean, you have Christian McCaffrey. They're still going to run the ball. That's the identity of this team. That's the identity of Shanahan's offense, of course. But you're going to want to pass on this one of the worst pass defenses in the league. Especially if you're getting early success, it's just going to keep coming over and over again. So when I look now at what the Lions have allowed, to freaking receivers this year, You got like Adam Thielen going for 107. You got Chris Olave going for 119. You got Justin Jefferson going for 141. You got CeeDee Lamb going for 227. Justin Jefferson again for 192. Puka 181. Mike Evans 147. So, they haven't been good against these number one wide receivers. And if you look at a lot of these guys like Puka, like Jefferson, like Thielen, Keenan Allen, a buck 75 as well. Jefferson twice. These guys are all like master craft route runners. And what does Brandon Ayuk do? He's a master craft route runner. And I mean, I love this prop. I feel like the Hutchinson one and this one are the best ones. I think the Ayuk is a smash here. So I'm going to take Ayuk over 76 and a half receiving yards, minus 115. And then I'm going to take the ladder bet, Ayuk 100 plus receiving yards, plus 165. Now he's been over that mark 7 times this season. He's done that in 5 of 7 home games. And I think one of those games, they had Darnold in there. He didn't even freaking play. Another game, they smashed the Cowboys. So, they didn't have to pass much anyway. So Ayuk against this secondary, I think this is one of the best bets of the weekend. And Detroit has allowed 8 receivers to go over the 100 plus this season. I listed those receivers again, all master route runners, and that's what Brandon Ayuk does. And then you also have Debo banged up a little bit as well. He could leave this game at some point. So over 76 and a half minus 115. And then that, buy that ladder bet for him 100 plus, you get 1 plus 165. Then I'm also going to take George Kittle over 60 and a half receiving yards. Lions, again, bottom 5 in missed tackles. So if you can't tackle Kittle, which is not easy, he's going to break one off. He could run for, catch a ball and run for 20, 25 yards. And that's what, honestly, what the Niners are best at, catching the ball and, getting yards after the catch. But Kittle has also gone over that mark 8 of his last 11 games. So those are the props. Niners again.
Each new Sunday meant a brand new challenge, rich with new opportunities. A time for achievement, a time for purpose, a time for glory.
Niners minus 7. Over 52 and a half. San Francisco to win 34-21. San Francisco an over teaser. By that, San Francisco down to -1. And the total down to 46 and a half. So there you have it, guys. Championship Sunday. Tons of props. Replay it if you missed the props. There's a lot of them. We like Baltimore to advance. We like San Francisco to advance. Baltimore, San Francisco Super Bowl. Shanahan trying to get over that freaking hump. Lamar Jackson trying to win his first Super Bowl. John Harbaugh trying to win his second Super Bowl, win along with his brother who just won the national championship at Michigan. So, honestly, that would be the best freaking Super Bowl. If the Lions win, it'd be a great story, but we've already seen the Ravens destroy the Lions, and the Ravens destroyed the Niners too. But I think we'd much rather see that rematch. Chiefs, Niners would be great too, of course. You get the Mahomes. So that's great too. But either AFC team advances is great. Obviously, the Lions would be a great story. They'd be a big underdog to whoever they're playing. We like the Ravens. We like the Niners. Those are the picks. Those are the props. And actually, you know what? Forgot to give it out. I wanted to give out the same game parlay too. So let's do that real quick, and then we'll wrap this baby up. All right, same game parlay for the Ravens Chiefs. You got plus 10,000 on this. Ravens minus 2.5. Buy it down to 2.5. Over 26.5. Mahomes rushing yards. Over 44.5. Zay Flowers rushing receiving. Over 51.5. Justice Hill rushing receiving. Kyle Hamilton defensive interception over, just one. And then Metabuke over half a sack. That you put $20 on that, you're gonna win $2,000. So put $5 on it, $10. You don't have to put much on it at all. You're getting plus 10,000 odds. So that's for Chiefs, Ravens. Niners, Lions, we got Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown. Brandon Ayuk laddering up to over 99.5 receiving yards. Aiden Hutchinson with a sack. George Kittle over 60.5. And then the 49ers to win. That's plus 22.50. So $20 wins you 470. So there you have it, guys. Again, follow me on Twitter at Fantasy Savvy. Thanks for following along all season long. We're at 55%. You saw the record. We'll be back for the Super Bowl. We'll have more props. We will have our Super Bowl picks. Maybe we'll make a bet on the Star Spangled Banner, heads, tails, some funky stuff like that too as well. But everybody have a great weekend. Please like and subscribe, share, get outside, get to church, go see your family, go see your friends. Take care, brush your hair. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. But, we're probably going to do some college basketball as well next week. So look for that as well. Let me just pull up this baby. Thanks for listening, guys. Take care.